Let me ask you something. What if there were problems in the world that even the most powerful computers today cannot realistically solve? Not because they are impossible, but because they would take hundreds, thousands, or even millions of years to finish. That is exactly where quantum computing comes in. But before we understand that, we need to understand how normal computers work in the simplest way possible. Every device you use today, your phone, laptop, or even a smart TV, works using something called bits. And a bit is just a tiny switch that can be either on or off, which we represent as 1 or 0. You can think of it like a simple light switch in your house. It is either on or off, nothing in between. Now, when you combine billions of these tiny switches together, your computer is able to process information like text, images, videos, and apps. But here is the limitation. Because each switch can only be in one state at a time, your computer has to process things step by step, checking one possibility after another, even if it is very fast. For many tasks, this is perfectly fine, like opening apps or watching videos, but there are certain problems where this approach becomes extremely slow. For example, if I ask you to multiply two numbers, that is easy. You follow steps and get the answer. But if I give you a very large number and ask you to figure out which two numbers were multiplied to create it, that becomes extremely difficult, even for computers. And this is important because many security systems today depend on this difficulty to keep your passwords and banking data safe. Now let's move to the big idea behind quantum computing. Instead of bits, quantum computers use something called qubits, and a qubit is very different from a normal bit. If a bit is like a simple light switch that is either on or off, a qubit is more like a dimmer switch. It can be on, off, or somewhere in between, and in fact, it can represent multiple possibilities at the same time. This idea is called superposition, and a simple way to imagine it is like a spinning coin. When the coin is lying on the table, it is either heads or tails. But while it is spinning, it is not just one or the other, it is kind of both at the same time. A normal computer cannot represent that in-between state, but a quantum computer can, and this is where its power comes from. Instead of checking one possibility at a time, a quantum computer can explore many possibilities at once. Now let's make this practical. Imagine you are trying to find the best route between multiple cities, not just any route, but the shortest one. With a few cities, it is easy, but as the number of cities increases, the number of possible routes increases massively, and a normal computer has to check each route one by one, which can take an enormous amount of time. A quantum computer approaches this differently. It can explore many possible routes at the same time, almost like trying all paths in a maze at once instead of walking one path, hitting a dead end, coming back, and trying another. But if it is exploring everything at once, how does it know which answer is correct? This is where two important ideas come in, called interference and entanglement. Interference helps strengthen the correct answers and cancel out the wrong ones, almost like boosting the signal you want and reducing the noise you do not want. While entanglement connects qubits together so that changing one instantly affects another, allowing the system to work in a coordinated way. Together, these allow quantum computers to move toward useful answers instead of random guesses. Now, this might sound abstract, but it has very real implications. Quantum computers could help solve problems in areas like finance, where you are trying to find the best investment strategy, logistics, where you are trying to optimize delivery routes, medicine, where you want to simulate how a drug interacts with the human body, and even climate science, where you are trying to model complex environmental systems. In fact, one of the reasons quantum computing is so powerful in medicine is because chemical reactions themselves are quantum in nature. So using a quantum system to simulate them is much more natural than using a classical computer. However, this power also creates concern, because quantum computers could eventually break some of the encryption methods we rely on today, which is why researchers are already working on new types of security that can resist quantum attacks. Now, it is very important to understand that quantum computers are still in the early stages. They exist, but they are not widely available. They are extremely complex to build, often requiring extremely low temperatures and highly controlled environments, and they are mainly used for research and experimentation. You cannot replace your laptop with a quantum computer, and that is not the goal anyway.
Quantum computers are not meant to replace classical computers. They are meant to work alongside them, solving specific types of problems that are too complex for classical systems. So in the future, most systems will likely use both: classical computers for everyday tasks, and quantum computers for highly complex calculations. If you step back and look at it, the difference is simple but powerful. Classical computers work step by step using zeros and ones, while quantum computers work using probabilities and multiple possibilities at once. And that is why this technology is so exciting. It is not just an improvement, it is a completely different way of thinking about computation. And even though it feels a little strange at first, once you understand the idea, you start to see why people believe it could change how we solve some of the hardest problems in the world.